Hi, everyone. Good to have you today. I'm going to spotlight myself so that you can see for today's practice. As a reminder for those of you who are new or just joining, your cameras are turned off so you can practice in peace and just move your body the way it wants to move through today's practice. So today's practice is also an offering. You can choose to follow along or choose to dip in and out. You can leave the call when you want to leave the call. You can join when you want to join. But it's just an hour for you to be with yourself in whatever way that looks like for you. My name is Kelsey, and I'm a therapist with Love Meets Therapy in Washington State. I'm also a yoga teacher, and so I combine yoga practice and mental health tools in a flow to do on your Thursday lunchtime. We start usually with about 10 to 15 minutes of psychoeducation and meditation. Then we move into a seated flow that you can do at your desk while you're at work. And then the last part of our flow is a standing flow on a yoga mat or a seated flow on a yoga mat. This month, the theme that we've been working on for November is gratitude. So practicing different gratitude practices, calling in different gratitudes from things that are happening in your life. And today, the theme to focus on, or the specific section of gratitude, we're going to be working with positive psychology and this idea of PERMA, which was developed by Martin Seligman, which is just 5 different areas to measure well-being in your life. I'll lead us through a little meditation to explore those, and then we'll integrate that into our practice for today. So as a reminder, this is not therapy, it's just a yoga class that you can follow along with as you please. Find yourself first just in a comfortable position for this little meditation. To begin, you can do this meditation standing, you can do this meditation laying down, you can do it seated. Make yourself comfortable. If you haven't already, go ahead and take your shoes off if you're allowed to do that at your work. Push yourself away from your desk. Give yourself a little bit of space here. Okay. Whenever I do a meditation in a seated position, I like to rest my hands on my knees to make contact with another part of my body. To begin by noticing my breath, feeling the gentle rise and fall of my chest. And I like to find my center or my alignment with gravity. So shifting back on my sit bones, leaning a little bit to one side or the other side, leaning a little bit forward and a little bit back. Maybe making small circles until I find that space where my vertebrae are directly stacked on top of each other. The crown of my head is being pulled up. My sits bones are grounding me down. And I'm using the least amount of muscles to stay upright. From here, the invitation is to take a moment to reflect on this concept of PERMA. P-E-R-M-A. It's an acronym, and the P stands for positive emotion. See if you can find a place in yourself where you're feeling a positive emotion and allow that emotion to grow. To bring life to you. If you're struggling to find an emotion, remember gratitude is our gateway emotion here. Think of something easy to be grateful for. The E in PERMA stands for engagement, which is entering a flow state, being fully present. For this, you can let your mind wander and drift. Your thoughts fade for a moment as you tune into your breath and allow this rhythm to bring your awareness in and up and out, releasing, flowing back and forth. The R in PERMA stands for relationships. Take a moment to bring to mind the relationships in your life, the ways you feel supported, or maybe want to feel supported. The M in PERMA brings in meaning, purpose, and connection with something greater than yourself. Take a moment to ask yourself what purpose means to you in this moment, what meaning your life or a situation in your life has for you. And finally, the A in PERMA relates to accomplishment. What in your life are you accomplishing? What goals are you setting and pursuing? Find the sensation of that in your system. Inhale all of this into your system, locking into your cells. Exhale, let everything go. Let the words and the letters release. You can set them to the side for a moment and we'll begin our moving flow. I'm going to scooch back so there is space to see for the practice today. Today, for our warm up, we're going to move through the 6 movements of the spine. This can be done seated or standing. Best to come up if you're laying down. Can be done in a chair or on the floor, whatever is most comfortable for your body. The 6 movements of the spine are forward and back, twisting to the left, to the right, and hinging to the left and to the right. So find that comfortable seat, place your hands on your knees, and begin just by tucking your chin to your chest. See if you can breathe here into the back of your neck, into the back of your heart space. Allow your neck to relax. On your next inhale, raise your chin up to the sky, being careful not to kink your neck here. Opening through your collarbone, breathing into the front of your neck. Roll your chin down again, tucking that chin. This time, allow your shoulders to slump in a little bit. This is kind of a natural position when we're at our keyboards all day. Or seated writing. Still breathing into the space between your shoulder blades. Inhale, draw your chin along that vertical line in the middle, up to the sky. Shrug your shoulders up, roll them down and back as you open through the front, creating a little back bend here in your upper back. Tucking your chin to your chest, rolling down again. This time, rounding down a little bit more, maybe bending in your elbows, softening your hands on your knees. Rolling your chin up again, chin to the sky, shrugging those shoulders up and back. This time, increasing your grip on your knees, straightening your arms to hold you stable as you lean a little bit back into a deeper back bend. On an exhale, tucking your chin, rolling down yet again. This time, seeing how small you can get in a tiny little ball here. How far can you curl down? Drawing up through the midline, chin to the sky, hands on your knees. How far can you lean back and arch, opening your chest to the sky? One more time, rolling down, this time crossing your arms in front of you as you roll down into your little ball. Inhaling up through center, releasing your arms crossed in front of you, cactusing them out to the side, chin to the sky, heart open, arms bent at a 90-degree angle. Take one big inhale, exhale, and release your arms down to your side. You can keep your hands on your knees or on the mat beside you. Begin to turn your chin over to your left shoulder, eyes looking behind you on the left side. Inhaling into your right collarbone. Exhaling, bring your chin back to center. Inhaling to the right side, just moving our head and eyes. Inhaling into your left collarbone. And exhaling back to center. This time, placing your right hand on your left knee. Inhaling, reaching through the crown of your head, lengthening in your spine as you twist around. Releasing the twist, coming back to center. Planting your left hand on your right knee. Gaze over that right shoulder, lengthening through your spine as you twist around. And passing back through neutral. This time, as you plant your right hand on your left knee, send your left hand back. Walk it around behind you. Let your gaze follow. And on your next exhale, return back to center. Plant your left hand on your right knee, this time sending your right hand back, walking your fingers as far back and to the left as you can as you gaze over that right shoulder. And on your next exhale, passing back through center. One more time. This time, right hand still meets left knee, but you're going to send your left hand up and back, reaching directly behind you. Maybe using that right hand to help you deepen this twist. Opening through your left side body. And on an exhale, untwisting, passing back through center. Placing your left hand on your right knee, reaching out wide and opening with your right hand. Maybe using that left hand to deepen the twist. And on your exhale, returning back through center, back through neutral. Again, you can keep your hands on your knees or down by the mat beside you to begin. Tilt your head to the left, dropping your left ear to your right shoulder. Breathing into your left ear to your left shoulder, breathing into the right side of your neck here. As you exhale, let your shoulders sink down. As you inhale, bring your chin back to neutral. Exhaling, dropping your right ear to your right shoulder. And returning back through center. This time when you drop your left ear to your left shoulder, walk your left fingertips out away from your body. Raise that left hand up and place your left hand on top of your right ear. It's important here just to let the weight of gravity, the weight of your hand, pull your head down rather than any muscles. Take your right fingers on the mat, walk them further away, still touching the mat. Exhaling, walk your right fingers back to your center first. Remove your left hand, let your left hand drift down to your left ear to support your head as you return it to center. Let your right ear drop down to your right shoulder. First, walking out your right fingers, reaching wide as you bring that right hand up and over to your left ear. Again, just letting the weight of your hand increase this stretch. Letting your left fingertips walk farther away from your body, still keeping in contact with the mat. Exhaling, releasing the stretch on the left side first, removing your right hand, using it to help lift your head back to center and releasing that arm back down to the mat. Go ahead and tuck your left ear to your left shoulder. One more time. Walk your left fingertips away from you as you hinge your upper body to the left side. Inhale your right hand up, send it over to the left side. Stack your shoulders by gazing up through your right elbow. And exhaling, letting that right arm sink a little bit deeper onto the left side. Inhale, back up through center on the right side, dropping that right ear to your right shoulder. First, walking out your right fingertips, hinging a little bit, then inhaling that left hand up and sending it over to the right side. Rolling your shoulders back, looking up through that left elbow. And exhaling to release everything. One more time on this side, dropping that left ear to left shoulder, walking those left fingertips out, inhaling that right arm up and over. This time bending into your left arm. Maybe your elbow touches the mat, maybe not. Reaching, seeing how far you can reach over to the left side. See if in this pose you can breathe into your right hip. And exhaling, passing back through center. On the opposite side, right ear to right shoulder, walking those right fingers out, inhaling that left arm up and over, bending in the right arm to lower down to the mat, breathing into your left hip. Releasing this pose, coming back through center. Planting your hands on your knees and just taking a moment to check in with your spine. What are you noticing? How did those movements feel? As we move through today's flow, you can follow along with the movements or listen to your body, return to this space where you're listening, and choose a different movement that your body wants to be doing. For the rest of our flow today, we'll be doing most of it seated. I think we have a little bit that will be standing, maybe. But we're doing a gentle flow series for the month of November to allow ourselves time to slow down and really foster in our core that feeling of gratitude. So we're working as much on our inner yoga as we are our external yoga, just for this month, which is helpful as the weather changes as well to slow down. We're going to do 2 breathing exercises here. Some breath and circle of joy. For the some breath, you'll start with your hands on the mat beside you. Walk both of your fingers out wide until they start to lift off the mat. Turn your palms to the front as you send your arms wide. As your arms reach the top, turn your palms to face each other. In this pose, reach up through the fingertips, reach down through your shoulders, reach up through the crown of your head, reach down through your sit bones. Clasp your hands together and then draw them down the center midline, the middle meridian, to your heart center. Moving through it with one breath, planting your hands down below you. Inhaling as you raise your arms up. Exhaling when your hands meet together and draw down that midline. As we continue this flow, continue this breath, reaching out and up, gathering together and pulling down and in. We can imagine focusing on the P here in Perma, focusing on these positive emotions. Finding one, reaching out, pulling it in, gathering, gathering, gathering as we reach our arms out and around, and then drawing that emotion into our core, into our heart as we exhale. Reaching out, up and around, pulling in, grounding. We'll do this 3 more times. at your own pace with your own breath, with your own emotion that you're wanting to cultivate here. One more time for good measure. Let your hands rest at heart center. With your hands clasped here. Send your arms forward, palms together until they can't reach anymore. Then tuck your chin to your chest, hinge at the hips, and lean forward as much as you can without losing your balance. Inhale to raise your arms up and begin to send them back, sending them back from the shoulders. When they can't reach any further back, open your palms to the front. Send your hands to the side, arms to the side, elbows down, shoulder blades, elbows, backs of your palms squeezing together behind you. And then bring them down and around back to heart center. This is our circle of joy. Taking an inhale, exhaling, sending all of the energy out and forward. Inhaling, breathing the energy up, opening your hands, sending your hands wide as you bring your shoulder blades together, and then arms clasping together in front of you. Moving through this again as we focus on the E of PERMA, engagement. Engagement is this idea of flow state, where our mind is no longer preoccupied. All of our body and thoughts and emotions are in alignment, and we're able to be present in the moment we're in. See if for this, I'll let my voice drift away. See if you can enter a momentary flow state with where you're just present with your own body and the own movements and your own breath. One more time for good measure here. And ending again with your hands at heart center. Taking a moment to breathe. Notice how that practice was for you. To focus on the R in PERMA, our relationships, we're going to send our arms wide, cross them in front of us, and give ourselves a nice little hug. As you do this, breathe through the back of your heart space, widening your shoulder blades, and begin to gently rock. You can choose to exaggerate this as much as you want, or to allow your subtle body to take over and have the most little movements possible. Imagine a relationship in your life that you hold dearly and send a thought of loving kindness wishing that this person or this being may be free from suffering. Sending a little bit of that wish to yourself and releasing your arms. Go ahead and move out of your seated position. We're going to come to thunderbolt or lightning bolt position at the back of our mat. So lightning bolt is sitting back on our heels. Some variations of how to do this so that it supports your knees, because we'll be on our knees for a little bit right now, is to put a towel or something under your knees. You can also roll up the back of your yoga mat and place your knees on top of your yoga mat for extra padding here. And you can also choose to sit up on a pillow or something under your sits bones. From here, we're going to move through a cat flow. I'll show you each of the poses and then we'll go through it in a more meditative space. We're going to inhale, rise up on our knees, inhale our arms up, palms facing each other as we stretch up, reaching with our fingertips, reaching down with our shoulders, reaching up with the crown of our head, reaching down with our knees. Exhale and plant your hands on the mat in front of you, directly below your shoulders. Inhale to drop your belly down, raise your chin to the sky in cow pose. Take a few moments to breathe here. See if you can breathe all the way into your belly button, even as it stretches. And on your next exhale, round your spine, tuck your chin to your chest, send your belly button up towards your spine in cat pose. I shared this in a class I taught earlier today, but my partner just adopted a cat. And so I've been I'm a little bit obsessed with this new cat. And it has been a joy to do cat pose and be reminded of the sweetness of this cat. Exhale. Let your spine be neutral. And go ahead and send your hips back onto your heels. Walk your hands forward. And let your forearms rest on the mat, fingers rest on the mat, forehead rest on the mat in child's pose. As we move through this flow, we'll be focusing on the meaning in our lives, the M in PERMA. Calling in what sense of purpose we have, or maybe the meaning we're making out of a life situation. Walk your hands to your knees to come up into Thunderbolt. Rise up on your knees, raise your hands up. Exhale into tabletop pose. Hands below your shoulders. Inhale, lift your chin to the sky, belly down. Exhale, rounding your spine, tucking your chin. Inhale to neutral. And exhale, sink back on your heels for child's pose. I'll cue this one more time. Sitting up, raising up onto your knees, raising those arms up. Exhaling to tabletop. Inhaling to cow. Exhaling to cat. Inhaling to neutral. And exhaling down into child's pose. We'll do this flow 3 more times at your own pace with your own breath. And again, as always, you can move your body any way that it wants to move that is different. But my voice will drift off to let you be present with this flow. Meeting all together down in child's pose. Taking a breath and then sitting upright. We're going to come back into our tabletop position to transition to our next pose. Go ahead and straighten your left leg so that it reaches behind you, weight up on your toes. As we open through the left side of our body, we're going to send our right foot out to the side, shifting our hips, stacking our hips, raising our left hand up to the sky. Our right foot kind of acts as a kickstand to help us balance here. Feeling that stretch in between your right and left hand, creating length there. Gaze is up towards the ceiling. Inhale to feel that stretch. Exhale, send your left hand overhead, stretching a nice long line between your left foot and left hand. See if you can pay attention to your right hand pressing down through all 4 corners of your palm, all fingertips on the mat. As we move through this pose, we're going to focus on the A of PERMA, which is accomplishment, setting goals and achieving goals, pursuing something. Begin to send your right or your left hand back behind you. Send it down, pass it along your left hip, send it forward, and make nice big circles here with your left arm. Maybe tie this movement to your breath. One spot on the circle representing inhale, one spot representing exhale. And plant this hand down on the mat. Unstack your hips. Bring your left knee to meet your right. Send your right foot back to meet your left. On the opposite side here, straighten your right leg first, then shift your left foot to the side as you open up through the right side. First, reaching up towards the ceiling with your right hand and your gaze. Checking in with your left hand. Are you pressing down through the entire surface area of your left hand? Reach up on your inhale, then exhale, send that right hand up and over. One long line between your right foot and your right hand. Bending that right hand back as you reach around, down as you reach long and forward and around. Again, maybe tying it to your breath. Nice, big, long, slow circles. And plant your right hand down next to your left as you unstack your hips. Send your right knee next to your left knee, right foot next to your left foot. And sink your heels back into child's pose one more time. Let's turn this into an active child's pose by lifting our forehead off of the mat, lifting our palms, forearms, elbows off the mat, but fingertips pressing down and in. As you press down and in with your fingertips, send your hips further back. And release everything down to the mat. Go ahead and lock your hands closer together. We're going to do one standing transition to get into our yoga squat for today. If you want to just hop into a yoga squat, you can. It's a little bit easier if you do it while standing. So go ahead and come to standing on your mat. Walk your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. Have your toes pointing out at a 45-degree angle. Inhale to find some length, and as you exhale, begin to bend in the knees. Knees are going to follow your toes out at that 45-degree angle to come down into a squat. Send your hands in between your legs, and they can stay here. You can reach forward to help counterbalance. And if it's available to you, you can place your hands together at heart center. Press into the inside of your knees with the backs of your elbows. And welcome to a yogi squat. Release this pose. We're going to come back to seated for a reset in staff pose. Stretch your legs out long in front of you. Reach up through your midline with the crown of your head. Reach down, hands on the mat next to you. Shoulders guiding your way down. Crown of your head guiding your way up. And pull your toes closer to your chest. Engage the tops of your legs. Maybe lift your heels up off the ground. And exhale, release your heels down to the ground as you hinge forward. Walk your legs forward or walk your arms forward along your legs to come into a forward fold. Inhale to return to center. Go ahead and scoot your hips forward. I have one more little flow for us to do today. Come to laying on your back. Some of you may remember my favorite pose from our Halloween class, dead bug pose. I'll guide you into it and then we'll do a little dead bug flow. So go ahead and lift both of your feet so that your heels are stacked above your hips. You can let your feet relax or pull your toes closer to your chest. Reach your arms up in front of you so your hands are stacked on top of your shoulders. This is our traditional dead bug pose. From here, bend your left foot and right elbow. left knee, right elbow. So they're bent at a 90-degree angle, like this. Then bend your opposite elbows and knees, so everything is bent. Send your right hand, left foot up to the sky, and then finally right foot, left hand up to the sky. This one takes a lot of brain power. Bending that left foot, right hand, all four. Sending up that left foot, right hand, all four. Try this out at your own pace. And next time all four hands and feet are up towards the center, switch directions. So drop down your left hand, right foot first, then left foot, right hand. Bring up your right foot, left hand, and then up the rest. Continue at your own pace. Offer yourself some gratitude and forgiveness if it gets a little tricky. And finally, bring everything up to stillness. You may notice your fingertips and toes are a little tingly. So just recognize that sensation and then allow your feet and hands to come down to the mat. We're going to send our left foot up to the sky again, heel reaching up and forward. Our right knee is bent, right foot on the mat. Bend in your left knee to send that left ankle over your right knee. And you can stay here in figure four, or you can pick up that right foot, interlace your fingers around your right thigh, and slowly pull to deepen the stretch, pulling it closer to your chest. Exhaling to release this back down, planting that left foot on the mat, sending your right foot up to the sky, reaching with your heel first, then bending in your right leg, crossing that ankle over your left knee, pulling your left leg closer to your chest by interlacing your fingers around that thigh. Unwinding here. We have a minute or so for you to do any last movements that you want to do before we enter Shavasana for the day. If you're ready to get back to your workday, you can go ahead and do that. Shavasana is great though because it allows integration. But right now, just find some movement. This is a great time to listen to your body. And when you're ready to find stillness, you can stretch your legs long. Send your palms to the sky as your hands rest by your side. Grab any pillows or anything comforting. There's always the invitation to reflect on how today's practice went for you. Or what it means to bring gratitude into your practice of movement and into your life. Or maybe to reflect on our positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. You can also let your mind wander, let your thoughts just drift away. My voice will fade out, but will come back in when it's time to wake up from Shavasana. Welcoming in the transition back to the world by blinking some light into your eyes, wiggling your fingers and toes to add a little bit of movement. My favorite thing about waking up from Shavasana is that I get to reset my day and wake up the way I wanted to wake up without an alarm clock. You can rock side to side, make your way to a seated position, and offer yourself just a moment to lock in a gratitude and an appreciation for showing up today. So maybe it's hands at heart center, maybe it's a bow, maybe it's a hug, a moment to mark the end for you. I'll be meeting again with all of you, I hope, the next 2 Thursdays. Next week will be focused on gratitude and its function of shifting our perspective. We'll do some upside down poses, which will be fun. And on Thanksgiving, we will do a really great gratitude flow for digestion, and we'll do some digestive poses, which will be helpful with all the food. All right, it was lovely to see everybody again today, to feel your presence on the call. You can always watch the recording on the YouTube channel if you want to tune back into this practice. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Bye, everyone.